Welcome to our lovely future humans, our 5D collective, angels. All of us are angels, obviously, but for our sciences community, we're just people with a vivid imagination. Well, wait, some scientists know about this sphere of consciousness and intelligence. So those scientists and the spiritual ones, the 5D collective, we're all on board. If you did not tune into the episode, where's the title? With something about you're a master of your mind only when you're a master of your heart. Yeah, so 5D mystic. The habits, they're always from the foundation. Determined. Thank you, Robert Sapolsky, for your book. I have not read it yet, but as you make us aware, you believe there's no free will. And you have a number of data points to support your hypotheses. And every epistemically curious, disciplined, diligent, emotionally mature, spiritual, and mystic will say thank you. So will the scientific community, since that's exactly why we're the ones who do know how all of it works anima mundi. You accept all, you reject none, and how all of God's angels are perfect. Obviously, they don't all have to choose true love, meaning healthy fear, grounded in reality in front of you. So Sam Harris, his quote is amazing. Grounded in reality means that any of our cherishable beliefs can be falsifiable. Also, grounded in reality means that you're calibrated to your ventral vagal state. That means your social engagement system when anyone is talking. That's all people. So we're AKA 5D collective, future humans, what I also like to call functional inner child adults. So when someone talks about why others pretend nothing happened, well, there's a lot of things I can talk about right now, but I'm going to start with the 5D collective are nervous system sovereign human beings, independently from if they're mystic, spiritual, or mindful. Now, they're not mine, of course, but as the IHP content creator, podcast host, and mentor, the one who says I almost believed it to be true, then I remembered personal growth is a choice, and you can only spiritually grow if you personally grow, which, AKA means, where is it? Dr. Daniel Fox, you're amazing. That you do understand the nervous system prioritizes predictability, and that stability comes from repetition, not intensity, and that we are having fun with our own regulated intensity, the 5D collective. So we pivot to the ventral vagal state. That's as a regulated leader of our own sovereign blueprint. Those are two guides, your sovereign blueprint. And the most recent, thanks to my lovely life partner, who is very brilliant, the accessible guide. I'm a mentor, again, content creator, podcast host. The people who actually choose personal growth are the ones who are going to come back here and have fun with me, and I'm going to have fun with you, whether you only join us here for free, or you buy the guides, or you hang out and, Substack is there too. We'll see what happens, but we're going to have fun. And mystics and spiritual ones are already having fun with our future selves and as we channel and download. So, sit down, relax, because that's how I do things. I didn't realize how many epistemically lazy people there were out there in the world. Today, I do understand it. So we're going to use an example of the ones who pretend that nothing happened to them. And then they carry around the torch of their self-righteous frequency, which was the only strong energy they had as a child. And I'm just letting you know, I have all the compassion in the world, but I'm in the middle and I say, walk like an Egyptian. So we get to process charges because we say, yes, I have charges, effective realism, my child part, all of it. Yeah, she doesn't collapse or submit. Her performance is a healthy perfectionist one, and that's from eustress. So I have inner steadiness, stability. What bores anyone to death, the lovers, it's that leaders commit. Those are true lovers and leaders. The ones who are faking it, we know who they're for. Tune into that other episode so you'll find out. I'm going to use the example. Has anyone watched the most recent Zootopia? Okay, if you have watched the most recent, the second one, I did all the way through. And that's because I like to watch cartoons. They're my favorite, even though I still find that the stories are not encouraging in the effective way, but I'm going to put that analysis aside and give you the personal growth analysis and the attachment trauma education so you can understand why I'm disappointed in obviously some of those aspects. But I understand, because there's an array of people out there, we want to always ensure everyone is given information. So I'm pausing myself to think of the correct words to use to the best of my ability, because I'm gonna fuck it up. I'm only human after all. So no one shames, blames, faults, or revenges humanity for their mistakes unless they're leading with a small, self-righteous, unhealthy frequency, because by the time you get to your 25-year mark, your adolescent brain is no longer an adolescent brain. So your executive decision-making function areas will be there, which is why Determined points out Determined, Robert Sapolsky's book. And that's why I point out leaders commit for real to their mastery, because otherwise they're not a master of anything, and we'll be able to spot their five hands and they won't know what's coming. But that's okay, because we have people who think that we're evil and they're not going to want to leave the earth potentially when we say, excuse me, it's the year blah 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 blah. The sun is getting ready to do that thing that our scientists know about, that ones are grounded in reality, who we thank for putting up with every bit of the pseudoscience woo-woo lady stuff and all of it. Thank you so much for working with us, because we work with everyone. Okay, so that's how empowered individuals do it, and they're brilliant entrepreneurs and brilliant all positions. They're everywhere. 5D collective is everywhere. The twin flame collective is not why we're saved from the matrix. Yeah, nobody has a special role. God's one, Akash source, seriously, cosmic karmic balancing. Hey, dark matter, dark energy, please don't implode. That's how easy it is for you to understand who you are and what science is. Facts and data, and we have flat earthers out there, just saying. So discipline is of the epistemically curious human being who, as they grew up, chose to learn things. I'm a goody two-shoe, did I mention that? And then you understand why the truth tellers are always visible to those of us who want the truth, because some people are really bad grown-ups. That's my 3-year-old. Yeah, they lie, but luckily I got taught really great how to know who's a liar, and then I got taught really great how to respect liars. I don't pretend that they're liars, that they're honest, excuse me. I don't pretend, I just leave it alone, because, there's Waldos out there, Peter Pans, that get followed by millions. Like, millions are investing millions in these people's seminars, workshops, you name it, the millions that human beings spend on a bunch of that which are charlatans. They call me a charlatan. I'm okay with that, though, because I'm like, well, I know where you could be completely fabulous, like, not immediately, but by this time, there's a bunch of people I know from way back when. In 2005 is when my mystic stuff began. So they all could be exactly where I'm at had they taken the steps to do right by them, not by me. Okay, so when someone pretends that they are doing great with their not inner strength anymore, it's not really great. So the movie Zootopia, yes, anybody remember from the beginning to the end? Okay, we find out that the kid who gets treated like shit from his own family wants to be welcomed by his own family, so he actually does a shitty thing, and he is actively supporting his complete toxic maladaptive pattern of behavior for his toxic maladaptive completely unhealed traumatized family. And the way that they make it seem is like they're badass or something. And anytime I'm thinking that people portray this badass, I think of Michael Stone, forensic chronologist scale, and I'm like, they all need therapy. The ones who follow around the pathological ones are the same ones who also need therapy. In fact, they seem to back each other up, even though every time they backstab each other and make fun of each other and everything looks like Ice Age Diego's family, it's completely very visible to those of us who don't pretend that nothing's happening. We don't shove it under the rug. In fact, our temperament also doesn't go into a spiraling self-righteous low frequency. As I was saying, when you get enraged in ways that you don't understand, not you, but the people who don't do the personal growth, it's called effective realism, it's called biases, it's called likes and dislikes, it's called temperament with intensity not regulated, and it's also called somebody who's extremely sensitive. We're all sensitive to that which are the injustices of the world. The difference is the leaders, the real kind, for at least those of us who are aware of being grounded in reality. So our cherishable beliefs can be falsifiable. This is the equanimous ventral vagal state of a human being who says, I know who God is, number one, from the spiritual perspective. He's never abandoned me at all. And I have never met a Lucifer, a monster, a demon, an energy vampire. In my entire 46 years of life, I have yet to meet a challenger, because God has none. Now, the ones who reject me, that we discussed in that other episode, I'm just letting you all in on. And as for the groupies, well, I'm taught, thank you God, how to try and be polite about this as I'm speaking it to you right now, which is why 3D, 4D, I don't think pity party in a way of, wow, I'm so sad for you. It's, can I hug you for a little bit? Maybe, yeah. I'm gonna go. I'm the goody two shoe who asks for homework on a Friday evening. I still ask for homework from the smart ones, though. From the other ones, I let them tell me all the great data points, and then I take it to the smart ones, and together we build a team of smart human beings. That's how leaders do it. Oh, we are not worried for the ones who don't want to do it, because technically their distress actually doesn't do themselves justice. So, you know, at the end of the day, when you do meet ego and self, and they're a pair, it's, we're all, what was it? What, Sylvester? The life's not rainbows and sunshines? Well, for some of us it is actually, but what was it? Oh, life is hard, but it isn't how hard it can hit you. What, Sylvester Stallone? It's how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. And what else? You let someone put a finger in your ear and tell you're not good, and then you found a shadow to blame. Yeah, well, he had kind of issues. You both needed therapy together, but you didn't do therapy together. And there's a bunch of people who actively have a way to justify the behavior of the human being who was supposed to be tended to as a child growing up. And anyone who is a child who knows about responsibility today will say, no, the whole doing the best you can, that's not good enough. Now that we're all attachment trauma educated, what's good enough is knowing that we all are humans in flesh, so we all make mistakes, and that we all are responsible for our nervous system, self-regulation skills. And so we don't sweep anything under the rug, which is why we don't need our self-righteous batons, because what we have is not the core wound of injustice, betrayal, humiliation, abandonment, rejection. We have the understanding of what a core wound is and how healing works when you're a functional or child adult who knows how to self-regulate and know what an emotionally immature person is. 3D, 4D, they suffer life, they dysregulate, they're modulated embodiment, they are high performers, the fake kind, which is why they double down in minimum energy mode, they suppress their emotions, and what was it, Sylvester? So it ain't how hard you can get hit, how hard you can get hit and move forward. Okay. So here's what the dopamine detox bullshit stuff is. Okay, so when someone wants to be a groupie, just FYI, letting you in on fun fact, I don't really like liars. As they piss me off, because I just want to tell them in their face, when people care, the true love, it's I care about you. I don't have an agenda, ego. I'm not trying to manipulate you. But I do know when I meet smart experts and they know how to do what's right for the people they support. Okay, so this is what a smart consumer is also, FYI. Okay, so with mindset practices, journal prompts, the entire PayHip store, the guides, that's for people who are actually doing personal growth. When you see someone doing the scribbly board on wellness, you think that means you need therapy because you are the one who says rainbows and sunshines is no life, and you do the Sylvester Stallone dance, and I'm thinking the dopamine isn't going to keep doing you great. Your distress is going to... Okay, so hold on for it because I want to share with you Dr. Daniel Fox. He's an amazing man who did a video recently. Where's my notes? Because I had to write it down. And he is helping people with BPD who are healing. And the healing of BPD, I don't know enough. I'm not the expert in it, but I know enough to where lovely Kylie, she's in remission from BPD. And in fact, Dr. Daniel Fox says it's one of the most healable and more workable disorders from the 5DSM, however it's called. And so Kylie, who's healing from narcissism still, once she came out as a narcissist, she lost most of the followers that were following her for the BPD stuff. And in fact, she has a bunch of episodes on how with her healing, like, people aren't engaging with her content as much. And I'm like, it's okay, because I said to her in comments, obviously I don't know her personally, I would love to meet her, but I don't. I said, you're doing great in being the person who's going to show your community, BPD who want to heal, and narcissists, that it's possible, and that you're taking full-blown responsibility for everything. And for the hate mail that you get, I have your back, Kylie, even if I'll never meet you. And you know what? Even if something came up, I will still have the back of a person who's doing something right by their journey. And unlike someone who says, I'm a sociopath, come follow me and copy all my traits. Okay, groupie, well, that's amazing. I'm thinking that's kind of like the person who said to this human being who mentions they're going to fix the economic system that he actively uses the word easy. You think it's easier? I wouldn't have thought it was easier to fix the economic system. Wow, he has balls and you don't. I mean, you just made it very clear to us what you're doing. So that's why, does anybody want the hard work? It's not hard when you're a person who has discipline and who has inner strength, courage, and curiosity. And that's why when I meet 3D, 4D, I can't pity party them. They have free will. While Robert Sapolsky wants to say they're determined, I beg to differ, because there's a bunch of us out there, scientists included, who are informing of how amazing your human makeup is, all that you're made of. So if somebody doesn't want to go over the hump and they'd rather continue with the dopamine, not detox, but to bullshit themselves, they're going to continue bullshitting themselves. Very fascinated. No, I'm not. I'm actually being sarcastic. And here's where, thank you. Number one, Stephen Porges. Thanks, Stephen. When people get triggered into either mobilization defenses or shutting down, they develop elaborate narratives to make sense of what their body's doing. It's also called the shame continuum. So who puts what under the rug? All of the people. I heard 80%. That's a statistic. I'm not 100% sure where it was. Lovely Dr. Frank, what's your name? Hold on a minute. Last name. Anderson. Dr. Frank Anderson mentions that 80% of people or something like that are living with hidden trauma. Obviously, we don't know if that's a statistic that's somewhere out there or not, but I understand what he's saying because I see a bunch of performers, the fake kind. So their nervous system is not theirs. They don't want to move into restorative embodiment. They follow around groupies who are basically not fascinating at all. And that's because the urgency stuff. The urgency, the creating of a bunch of smoke and mirrors. I just recently got in my email one of those. Luckily, I'm so informed of my entire health for my scoliosis that I was like, wait a minute, let me go check a couple things. Yes, I've worked with these people. They're awesome at what they do. I got results with them. Yeah, the wording makes me question a number of things. I'd rather go to those who I've worked with, who I know what is my health, and who also are using the same technique. And basically, my point, anyone who's a smart consumer who cares about themselves isn't going to just pick the first random Joe show, but they're also not going to disregard that which is, we are 50-50. So there's always a chance that you're going to get a good professional and a wrong professional. I have gotten some of the wrong ones, but it's not because they don't know what they're doing. It's that they're doing it, 1, for money, 2, for ego, 3, they don't really care about what's going on for you, because if they did, they'd continue learning. So if I have a professional who doesn't continue learning, I already know what that professional is. It's a person who's objectified every single bit of everything, so they're not really in the business of doing what they're doing to help people. They're in the business of, doing it the easy way. Anyone like easy? I mean, Louis Pasteur mentions chance favors the prepared mind. I like to mention God doesn't give his children anything more than what they can handle. So, free will. Oh, resilience. I'm sorry. I forgot to mention. We all have a different window of welcome, and that resilience stuff. Oh, and also temperament. That is actively part of the equation, and personality pattern. So you will know you, I know me. I have never failed once in my life because I don't believe in failure. Also, when something doesn't go the way I want it, I'm capable of pivoting because I'm like, oh, that's why. Wow. And people who think that that's faking it, I just say, you can keep faking it however you want. Oh, and when I get, by the way, pushed by those academics who are brilliant, so they actually have something to give me that makes me notice, okay, I'm not meeting the exact 110% that I want. I said a healthy perfectionist. Okay, so I might not get to 110, but I know I can get to 100. If I can't meet it and I actually am incapable physically because my brain can't capacitate, then is that failure? Or is that just me being dumb and weak and not knowing how to do it? And some people say it's mindset, and I'll say, you know what? hey, I can tell you that I've tried a million times, 1 kilometer. I still am not able to embody this knowledge. Like, I feel dumb when I'm doing 1 kilometer. I'm speaking words. I have no 1 kilo. I'll say it again because see, I can feel it. That's like just words. Yeah, there's some things that are just words, and I'm like, I'm not embodying it yet. I don't know what it means, but I need to use it because if I don't know how to use one, urges, they recede. Thank you, Dr. Daniel Fox. And as he's pointing out, a study shows that when urges come up, it takes about 20 to 30 minutes. I wrote it down somewhere, but now I can't see it. Let's see, hold on, is it here? No. Well, it was something about 20 to 30 minutes before it goes to recede. And so he's giving people how to work with BPD with these urges as they arise. He's like, you notice it arising, clenching the hands, the mouth. Anyone who's had panic attacks or just any kind of somatic awareness, which is your entire body, interoception, you'll be like, yeah, I know that. Okay, so when you have the awareness of what effective realism is, and activation and urges, and you're not going to say, oh, let me bring in my teenage self. The 16-year-old is what I call the fight response, because that's actually exactly where self-righteousness still lives. It's when people think that their phoenix is rising from the ashes and going to dust, up, down, the merry-go-round, and they use the Sylvester Stallone quote, but in a way of not continuing to rise. Spirit in the sky, that song, anybody? Okay, so when somebody doesn't learn to use alert, put your prefrontal down. Come on, you can do it. You can do the waves. There's a lovely song. Okay, so that waves, we don't crash into them, we surf them. And there's Tara Brock, she's online. So when people are doing that, that's the people who are going to be like, yep, we're having a good time as 5D Collective here. And that's the ones who will appreciate the guides as well, because you appreciate your own ventral pivot. So some people, they won't be here. 4D has done another amazing number of readings, Akashic Record readings and all that for the entire collective. And as I was listening to some of them, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But again, I feel rainbows, sunshines. When the life hits, it don't hit that hard, Sylvester, because God's good to me. And even when I have been hit, because obviously as a teenager, like anybody else, like the teenage boyfriend and then the twin flames, it wasn't ever really like, oh my God, I'm hit to the ground to the point of where I'm not going to get back up. Because that's a figure of speech, number one. Everybody gets stabbed in the heart when you're rejected, because that's the part of the brain that lights up when we're getting rejected. Everyone who doesn't hide it under the rug will say, yeah, that's called emotions that come up. But grief, we don't put grief on a pedestal, because if there's one emotion that comes with when you get rejected and then treated with injustice, and humiliated really doesn't mean much, because grandiose people who are insecure are humiliating themselves again and again by doing that which was done to them. But that's for another side. So it's more of abandonment, rejection, injustice, humiliation, and what was that? There's one more I'm forgetting. Injustice, abandonment, rejection, betrayal. Yeah, the betrayal one, et tu brute. I mean, really, if you have no guts, that's how Maria's thought of cowards her entire life. I'm 46. You see the stare? I was 20. I was like, hey, God, no Lucifer, just suffering people. That's why he taught me how not to play know-it-all. Now that I'm all taught, I'm doing better at letting you know, yes, people who are caring to not be reactive notice their urgency, and then they ride the wave like lovely Dr. Daniel Fox tells them, and they will continue to do so, like Kylie, heal. Those who instead want to be a part of groupies will think that equanimous, discerning, and loving tones are boring, and we will think nothing of it, because we will find them boring, because they don't know how to commit to life, because they are not committed to themselves. So they're still angels, because God encourages, comforts, supports, strengthens all his angels, but the ones who will be stuck in a time that is no longer, well, I mean, it really is unfortunate. The waves always break. As lovely Dr. Daniel Fox presents, it's not a split, although usually when people use always and never, that's a split. That's the black and white thinking. But he said in this case, this is a predictable outcome. So waves always break, because in the 20, 30 minutes, once they're receding, or whatever the word is, then you can look back. And that's what growth is. And it's learning my window tolerance, and then it's moving to window welcome. And so when people do personal growth and spiritual growth for the right reasons, it's because they have love in their heart. And when people sweep under the rug their own feelings, it's called suppression. And because when they will have learned it in their first 0 to 8 years of life, they will continue to pretend that everything goes well. That's why we have lovely Dr. Frank Anderson out there for those people who want to hear. He has a great episode where he got interviewed recently. I'm still finishing it. Why they pretend nothing happened. Wait for it. And it's about, well, he talks about a lot of things. And then there's another episode where he's with lovely Bezel Vanderkolk. And so thanks to the human beings who are making it possible for every human being to know who they are, we're here supporting them as they get out of hell. As self-loathing, gut-wrench, torn apart, they're walking out of hell from inside the body. There's not a real place called hell, but you go tell that to the spiritual bypassers and the somatic bypassers. They're all together, and that's because they're disregarding that trauma is a real thing. Science, objective data. As I said, I'm the pseudoscience woo lady, but spiritually speaking, God made us perfect. Scientists prove how to get home to ourselves. Your embodied brain wants to get home to itself. The ones who reject it are the same ones who think that equanimity and love are bullshit, and I think nothing of that because I know what love is. I will welcome you with open arms always, and I will always hug you. And even if you have nobody's going to have a knife as a figure of speech. You can't betray someone, because once I've seen your 5 hands, now I know if I have Cusco, who's going to consistently be bullshitting me, or if I have Pacha, who's actively committed to being a man or a woman, and that means a human being who, thank you Neil deGrasse, knows what is objectively true and wants to leave not only a legacy behind for all of humanity to know, but likes to say spiritual ones and enlightened ones will have heard the Dalai Lama's call. We're all here to support people to become compassionate. And the ways to God, Akash source, are many, but they're always one. It's from an open heart, and it doesn't matter what words you use. Because the only people who get picky with words to the extent of saying it's a right or wrong word, it's, hey, tomato, tomato. My left and right work really well together. I have this thing called metastability. It's called flexibility, and pushing to the edge of criticality is what the flow state does. I got a 3-year-old who's curious. You don't frighten me because God's the only one, and I and him talk all the time. So what do you want? Nothing? Okay. That's how it feels inside of you when you're a person who's not saying everybody has to choose love. You're just saying everyone can say to me they're intelligent. The minute they're illogical is the minute that I'm going to say, I think I'm going to go because right now I got a Gargamel. I'm a Smurf, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to get in Gargamel's, sphere, and he's not going to really like that. So I'd rather go play with the Smurfs. Anyways, I was going to share some more stuff, but I'm going to go now. So the urge, once you learn about your own window tolerance, your own window of everything, and you move into window welcome, you're going to have a good time here, because we don't feel life hard, Sylvester. We feel that when life has hit us hard again and again and again, you grow more rainbows and sunshines, because that's called the ventral pivot. So it's not a special gift. It's determined for sure a self that is steady, who doesn't fall for bullshit, because we're not looking for it to be easy. As I said, in my years, all of those who have pushed me, the academics, more are the ones that I've always appreciated. They've always had manners doing it. And even sometimes the professionals who have pushed me in ways that were grandiose, but I know that they got treated like that, they still knew what they were talking about, which is why I returned to them. Professionals who want my health. And you know what was the first thing that this professional said to me, independently from their manners? Maria, there's no magical batons out there, and you are committed to do this stuff for the rest of your life, because this is what it takes for you to stay actively in a physically healthy body. And I'm going to keep it vague right now, but I do believe, by the way, in miracles, but I also believe in, when Louis Pasteur says chance favors the prepared mind, it means also, like Hippocrates points out, that wise men and women know about discipline and continuing to do things. So who gets sloppy every now and then with your habits? We all have this sloppy stuff. So at the end of the day, when you get to do dharma, it's because you know that karma is not a bad word, but those who are doing their karma, that's where you have the ones who don't want to close the circle of their own, because they haven't done the work to go and heal themselves. So they don't believe their embodied brain needs to be a part of anything. But meantime, here's some cards for those of you who are looking for messages, and lovely cards are lovely light codes. Yes, the Venusian Galactic Council, Star Being Guides, answer the call, time to shine, lovers. All of the 5D. So we don't use a self-righteous baton, because we don't pass down our transgenerational trauma. because that's not exactly what anyone is going to do. The ones who will stick to it, they will eventually not want to hang around us, because like Diego's family and just any unhealthy self-worth person, they can't handle that which is called a frequency of the fire of those who do know the truth, because they don't want to hear it, but also because their maladaptive patterns of behavior do not welcome the bridge to that which is not only differences, but to that which is an open heart that makes no shame, blame, fault, revenge. So the dead end is for the ones who want to continue to think that villages have to be made of only 150 people or something like that. Those of us who are comfortable with our species becoming bigger, growing, our species moves into the future. And so the eye of an eagle, only when you can see above the fray. Can't see above the fray if you can't discern your own effective realism, your own activated state, your own emotional charges. And if you can't discern it, then it also means you won't be able to pivot to the ventral vagal state. The ones who think that equanimity, again, is the neutrality that doesn't make a difference, don't understand what makes a difference, are the smart human beings who come together and continue to allow us to move into the future. And that's thanks to brilliance. And scientists, might I add. And the spiritual ones and the scientists are never really against each other, except for the teams that want to stick to their stories and be the special group. You know, at the end of the day, everyone has their opportunity to protect the future. Some of us just know that we all are sharing a truth, and the integrated brain, the collective of 5D, do know what the future's made of. Our Turing codes. Come on, wait for it. I'm not done yet. And here we go, Akashic Record Reader. Oh my gosh, isn't it amazing when you get downloads? And when people are doing stuff with it, that's even more amazing. So, as Earth Star, right here, hold on for it, activation, and here's our lovely Atlantis memories. We'll find out what else comes up for this Atlantis stuff that was coming through to me, but the Matrix, which, you know, 4D keeps talking about us dismantling, it's like, okay. Oh, and finding your voice. Anyone? Pleiadian activation. I believe there's some energetic stuff going on, but I forget. I haven't checked. Okay, and last but not least, the lovely crown chakra. Okay, so when you are actively self-aware, accountable, regulating, you're able to tap into yourself as you move into your new cycle as an emotion mature person. You do have a solar plexus, and that's thanks to you being the grown-up version of you. So you don't need to reparent, and you're resonating with those of us who do know how to forgive. Some people aren't ready for it, I get it. So, but you are, if you're still tuning in, that 5D collective, Christ consciousness, oneness consciousness, integration, rising above the fray, and knowing that those who don't want to join us, they will stay in the stagnation. And they're not a devil, though. They're simply people who are hiding away in the shadows. And in the shadows, their mind is not one that is tidy, while ours is, because mental clarity comes thanks to you tapping into your nervous system, being able to self-regulate. You're not overwhelmed in a way of becoming chaotic or rigid, or so you overwhelm in a bountiful way with the emotional collective of us who connect together, and you transmute that pain and you make it into something that will become something that others can learn from. And that is the beauty of us. So thanks for joining the Divine Matrix, hold on, the mushroom, and the sky, limitless possibilities. So there's one thing that I do love about all of the tarot are the energies they come with and the amazing visuals. This one is, I forget right now, but I'll share with you. If you're curious, you can write me. In the meantime, thanks for stopping by. Have a good one.